Hey there, Bulldog Nation. Welcome to Bulldog Breakdown with Coach Rocco. My name is Cody Moomaw. Glad to be here. It's playoff time. We're one game down. We got 4 to go. The state championship. Strap up your chin straps because it's going to be nonstop. We got a great player of the week that we're going to meet in just a little bit. Bulldogs are not just playing a game, but we're rewriting all kinds of things in the book of LCA records. We got a stadium that we're playing all these playoff games in. It was cold.
Yeah, I mean, it's November.
It's November on the mountain.
Hopefully December, that's what it's like in this time of year.
But if you were out there at the game, you saw that our Bulldogs are on a relentless march to victory. The Lions have been really dominating win against Fluvanna County. We're going to kick things off in just a minute with our film room. We're going to talk to a player of the week, and then we're going to take a look at a familiar opponent that we're going to come up again this week. You ready for this one? Bulldog Breakdown with Coach Rocker coming up. All right, we're back, and Coach, it's time to get in the film room. You really need to turn the heat on this film room because it's cold in here.
Nippy.
It's a little nippy out here. Coach, after a decisive win against Fluvanna County, they came down here. What do you think is the key adjustment for your guys going from the regular season into the playoffs to make such a quick statement like they did in this playoff game?
Yeah, I think, especially in the situation we found ourselves being the number 1 seed and playing the number 8 seed, there could be that little trap that gets played in your brain to say that, oh, we're 1, they're 8, this is just going to be a walk in the park. So to continue to be able to stay on that next game, focus on the next game, don't look ahead type of mindset, was always a tricky one. And really thankful how hard the guys prepared this past week and how they executed Friday night against a good team.
Yeah, they definitely have had some good games under their belts. But I want to jump a little bit to something you said there. You talked about a 1 team playing the 8 team.
Right.
I've heard a lot of talk this week, both online and just in conversations with people about the 8-team regional playoffs and maybe how that impacts a little bit of the quality of play. We saw Phoebus beat Jamestown, I believe it was, 104-0. But that was a team that was 1-9 overall, 0-8 in their conference play. Coming in, and what does it benefit a football team, the student athletes, to have such disparity between a 1 and an 8 like that?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that kind of thing can happen. Every region is different size-wise. Like our region is 16 teams, so you're playing football. You got 8 of 16, so half of the teams get in. That's the same way it is in basketball and baseball and all of our other sports, where half of the teams get in. 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, and so forth. On a good year, a number 8 could be a reputable team and deserve a shot to be in the playoffs. And that's just the way brackets are. 8 plays 1, so you're playing the best team from the regular season, and if you really deserve to be in and you want to make a run at it, well, you're going to be able to play hard against the number 1. So in that particular region where Phoebus won, obviously the Jamestown, I think it was, they were like 1-9. Maybe that's the odd one out, because I don't think that happened very much across the whole state. Like even our game was 56-6, I think. That's a large score, but I don't think you see that 100-6 or nothing very often.
Yeah, that was a little odd. I was actually impressed with you. You talk about the 56-6 here. It was very clearly ran away with a little bit early, 21-0, about halfway through the first quarter. I was impressed with their fans being out here. Fluvanna, a lot of their fans came down, and even coming out of the halftime, I think it was 49-0 at halftime. They cheered those guys on coming out like they were coming to fight for it. Cold weather football. We talk about it being cold weather. Cold weather football, that's a different beast. We just talked to how warm it was when we opened this stadium and being here in T-shirts. Well, it's not warm anymore. Cold weather football is different. How does a drop in temperature? Friday night was really cold.
Yeah.
How does a drop in temperature change the way maybe that you play a game plan or prepare in a game like that?
Yeah. The first thing I look at is the offensive line and defensive line. Those big guys, when we were out here in August, they were barely being able to get to the finish line in games. Now you have the 280-pounder that's still it feels like he's got a lot of energy left as he finishes a game. I mean, this is very friendly,
big guy friendly
to the big guys.
Yeah.
And then to the skill guys, the smaller guys. I mean, they're still going to be athletic and fluid and do the things that they do, but the technical part, holding on to the ball and throwing and catching, and the ball's hard because the way the ball contracts and whatever, and so it changes, and the beauty of football, it's an outside sport, so you got to play in the elements and be able to function within that. And I love the fact that our kids will show up and wherever the situation, whatever the weather, whatever the conditions, and always put their best foot forward.
Yeah, they definitely came out to compete. That's for sure. Looking back at the game, we talked with Coach Pribble last week about some things that we might not be seeing when it comes to special teams. Really some cool insight about what to look for. Right. We're going to talk to a standout player in just a little bit. But I was wondering if there's anybody that you're seeing that maybe deserves some more attention, maybe some looking at somebody that stood out to you or somebody that's standing out to you that the casual observer might not be seeing what they're doing.
Yeah. We had one of our top performers in the game on Friday night. Nolan Scott plays special teams for us, but then he's a backup linebacker. But he's a guy that we have great faith and trust in. Nolan's only 165 pounds playing inside linebacker, but he's got a great instinct. He attacks the ball. Hopefully he's only a junior, and hopefully next year he can put on 20 pounds or more and really be able to take on that inside physicality that the inside linebacker has to put out. But Nolan's a guy that maybe a lot of people don't know about. Griffin Tilley, we had met Griffin weeks ago when he was a player of the game, right, actually. But Griffin is kind of an unsung hero and plays special teams, plays multiple receiver positions, safety, backup. He backs up Gideon Davidson, and so he's been a real pleasure and a real surprise this year in a lot of ways. But there's multiple guys, but those two kind of jump out at me when you ask that question.
Yeah, they've definitely contributed a lot. Maintaining momentum is crucial, especially after a big win like this, and moving on into the playoffs. We're in the second season, and it can be a grind.
Right. Yeah.
Even as exciting as it is, these guys, their bodies definitely start wearing down. I saw you guys out here today. Noticed that there wasn't a 4 quarters today.
No.
What are you doing to keep their mental acuity sharp and prevent complacency kind of as you move into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think, as you noted, even in our Monday where we usually condition very, very hard, we're in, the 11th week now, 12th week, and if these guys aren't in shape, they're never going to be in shape. Yeah. And so we really back off of that. We do our conditioning and practice while we're doing our reps, our game reps, and so forth. And then really practice is, where we usually practice 2 hours or so. When you get to this stage of the season, if you're practicing an hour 45, an hour 40, and get them in and out, and for the most part, they should know the techniques and the game plans. And high school football or at any level really is getting the gang to Friday, or Saturday or Sunday in the NFL, but getting your guys to that day. So, if all you're doing is grinding and hitting and, whatever all week long, chances are you may not get all your guys to the game day,
right,
and that's really the goal here. And, our kids know how to play football by now. And so all of that was done earlier in the season.
Right. Well, it was definitely a great game. It was cool to see people come out. Obviously, I think a little bit of the rain, a little bit of the cold kept some people maybe watching it online.
Right.
but you don't want to miss the next one. We're going to talk to our player of the game in the sideline spotlight here in just a moment. And then we're going to come back, Coach, and we're going to talk about the game that's coming up, round 2 of the regional playoffs in just a moment. All right, Bulldog fans, we're here with Dalton Nesselrotte. Well, I mean, depending on which sportscaster, podcast, whatever, you got all kinds of last names. We'll talk about that in just a second. Dalton, you've been a touchdown machine. You've caught some really fun touchdown passes this season. Really exciting. All the way back, I remember that first one against Christiansburg, even in the when we were just kind of hanging out here. That first one kind of set the tone. Kind of coming back from an injury, and making your way back in. What do you feel for you has been the thing that has allowed you to get in the end zone so much this season? What happened this season? I mean, you're breaking the back of the defense here. Tell me about that.
Yeah, just putting a lot of work in throughout the year since I was little. Getting me where I am now. Yep. A
lot of work. Coaches working with you. Oh, yeah. Tell me about coming through the injury that you faced coming out of last year and working back into the lineup and really working back to get yourself into the end zone like that.
Yep. So pretty much around football season time, like turned on like indoor track, I actually tore my patella tendon on my left leg, and that took a big toll on like pretty much all the sports that I played around that time: football, indoor track, baseball, basketball. Yeah. And so ever since then, had to get little shots and stuff in it, kind of like a surgery or whatever. And yeah, had a bunch of therapy throughout all summer just to build it back up.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Feeling good now?
Oh yeah.
Feeling good. You got an interception during the season, and then big one in this game. Thought you were going to make it into the end zone. You did make it into the end zone. That was really cool, really exciting. Walk us through what goes through your mind when you're on defense, and at what point do you decide I'm going for the ball versus I just got to make this tackle? Like how do you do that?
Honestly, just try to think of what I'm doing, like what's my main goal and what I'm doing, and whether it's like cloud, sky, whatever like play types are, and just doing my job. And whenever the ball's in the air, that's my time to go.
Yeah, tell me about the one here against Fluvanna. Tell me how that one opened up for you.
Yep, playing my coverage in the seam, just good like rushing defense coming off the line and stuff, and just ball came right to me.
Yeah, one of those beautiful ones where you're getting the ball, but you recognize that defensive line made it tough on that quarterback. That's nice. Hey, being a dual threat player, both sides of the ball, how do you prepare offense and then defense, and does that help you? Does it help you to be an offensive player when you're playing defense and kind of the vice versa? Yeah,
both sides have like great things that like pour into me or whatever, like defense going up for the ball and stuff like that, trying to get interceptions. Also offense being fast, it's helping me catch the ball and stuff. It
was a long season, 9 regular season games, and then we're one game into the playoffs, but you guys are going back up against Rustburg. Tell me what you remember about Rustburg, and what are some things that going into playing Rustburg that you're preparing for personally?
Like the way the safeties play, get me out going. Yeah.
Nice. All right. I know it's cold outside. We're gonna get you to eat, but we do have to know, because you guys. I mean, I've heard your last name pronounced 100 different ways by just about every sportscaster. Every field we've gone to where you've caught a lot of balls, so they've had to announce your name. You got a long name. My last name's Moomal. Nobody ever pronounced it right. Give us for once and for all the definitive. How do you say your last name?
It's Dalton Nesselrotte.
Dalton Nesselrotte. All right, before I let you go, Dad's coach on the team. What's it like being on the team with him in there?
I love it. Yeah, he always giving me like good like tips and stuff throughout the game, keeping me in check.
Yeah.
Never going to the black.
Very nice. Hey, we're looking forward to this coming Friday night. You getting out there, stretching that defense, catching a deep ball in the end zone. It's nice to have a quarterback like Jeb Moon can put that ball out there for you to get. Come out and see Dalton Nesselrotte as he takes this defense to the end zone. Ladies and gentlemen, Dalton Nesselrotte. All right, Bulldog fans, we're back with the game plan for the coming week. We're going to meet Rustburg again. I had the Rustburg Rumble. I don't know if you remember that. I called it last.
Yeah.
This is the Rustburg Rumble round 2.
Yeah.
Rustburg with an impressive win themselves last week, facing a Rustburg team again. We've beaten them once this season. I think it was 41-0. But it's not the same team. Neither are we. But how do you prepare? How does it change when you got a team that's coming back in that's familiar? You know them. And you know that they're going to come in with the mindset of revenge.
Yeah.
How does that change things?
Yeah, personally, I don't like it. I don't like having to play somebody twice in a year. We've done it a lot over the last several years.
Right.
Usually Rustburg or Heritage, we've played them twice in a year. Brookville, we've played them twice in a year. I don't particularly like it. But you said, Rustburg is a different team, than they were in week 4 or 5, whenever it was we played them. They've made some adjustments personnel-wise. They've gotten even more athletic on their defensive side. And they have done some things offensively that they have become a more power team. They're a big offensive line. Big fullback, sniffer back is what we call them. They have a 230-pound tailback to begin with, and I mean they have really gotten in their mindset that they're going to play bully ball, and so we've got to come at it with the right mindset, or the team like that can make it very, very interesting.
Yeah. We've talked about, you played them, I think it was week 5. I think you're right on that one. That's actually the one that Griffin caught that really great pass in the corner of the end zone there.
Yeah, you're right.
But this is playoff football, and there's a different intensity level when you're playing that. Help us to understand a little bit of the difference between playing in the regular season and playing in the playoffs, because you can feel it. You see it on the guys when they walk in. There is a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've kind of set goals during the season as being winning the district championship, which we've been fortunate to do in the Seminole District, win the region championship, which is what we're in right now. That will be a 3-game jaunt. We beat Fluvanna, now we're into the second round of it, and God willing, we can move into the third round into the championship. And then the state tournament is basically just the semifinals and finals. So, you break it down into those 3. So, the stakes get higher every time you move into the next level. Now that we're into the playoffs, it's win and stay, lose and go home.
Yeah.
So that's not what the regular season is, obviously. So there's a major change of mindset there. But ultimately, as in any sport, it's continuing to take one game at a time. You just can't get looking too far ahead, and that's why it's always dangerous playing someone a second time, especially when you've beaten them, because it's very easy for weak minds to start looking, saying, "Oh, we've already beaten this team. What's next?" And this team is too dangerous to take that approach.
No, I know that. I know we've got this game coming up, and you'd never sit and say we're game planning for anybody else, but just kind of looking at some of the other teams that are in the playoffs. Let's see, Turner Ashby is still out there. We played them last year.
Right.
And, are there any other teams of note that you're looking at saying, hey, they've moved on, or that stand out to you? Yeah,
honestly, no. I mean, Rustburg is that team, and they really, the adjustments they've made over the last 4 weeks, really give them, in my mind, put them in a position where they can win this region. I mean, they're capable of winning this region. If they would happen to beat us on Friday night, I can see them winning the next round and moving on. They're that good. But you mentioned Turner Ashby; they're very talented, and Spotswood. It's a very tough region that we play in.
So, Bulldog fans, here's the thing: we're going to claw all the way through to the end of this. It's going to be a dogfight. There's my pun. Every single time I come with this, Carter just rolls his eyes on me. I apologize for the dad jokes, but they're just going to keep coming because it is going to be tough. Every game from here on out carries so much weight.
It does.
You said it it's not a regular season game. It's not that you ever want to lose a regular season, but there's always a next game after that to recover from. This This is win and move on, or lose and go home.
That's right.
And so there's a lot of emotion involved, and you guys are a huge part of that. And I know that you guys love when these guys come out. It's chilly in the night, so here's the thing: get a blanket,
right.
get a hoodie, but definitely come out. I was really impressed with our student section.
Yeah.
They came out.
They've been great.
And they've done a great job. Hey, we're gonna close this down, and we're gonna try and get out of here before these lights shut off here in just a minute. But Coach, I appreciate you doing this. This is bonus material here.
Yeah.
We're guaranteed a few, but we get extra ones. Before we sign off, again, our big brothers up the hill, Liberty is 10-0, ranked 25th.
Right.
We talked about them a few weeks ago. At this point, what do you think the most impressive thing about Liberty football has been this season?
I watch them as often as I can. A lot of times I'm prepping for our games during their games, unfortunately. I'm just so thankful for Coach Chadwell and his staff. They're very supportive to our program. Coach Chadwell's son is our middle school quarterback, so
he can sling the ball too.
He and his whole staff come out and watch our games and support our games. Coach Chadwell was here 2 weeks ago at the JF Seminole District Championship game, and he's been tremendous and a great support to us. Jalen Belford had his first carry the other night, so one of our former players doing well. But it's just a blast to be able to look just across the way there and know that, that's a big time operation happening just right over there. And, if we as a high school can, just bring half of that enthusiasm to our nation, Bulldog Nation, as they're doing the Flames Nation, we would be very, very honored.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, that's the game plan, Bulldog fans. What a great week it's been. We're excited for the Rustburg Red Devils to make their way in here. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms. We've got it on Twitter, X, I say that every week. We got Facebook, Instagram, a lot of great things going up, a lot of great pictures. Mia's been taking some really, really cool pictures this season. And, of course, follow us right here on YouTube, on our podcast. And we're excited about what's going to happen. Be here. You can get your tickets on GoFan. That's the best way to do it. Just walk right in, show your tickets. You can come in and then come support your Bulldogs. We need these stands packed with people because Rustburg's going to show up. They're going to bring everybody that they can, and they're going to cheer those guys all the way to the end. So we need to make sure that this is Bulldog Nation and they know where they are when they get on the stand. Anything else, Coach?
Protect our house.
Protect our house. Hey, thanks for joining us for Bulldog Breakdown with Coach Rocco. My name is Cody. Go Dogs.